He locked himself in a room until he made $1 million. Is this true? Is this a lie? Let's find out.
There was a time not too long ago when I had $50 to my name. I was dressing up as a penguin while playing drums for minimum wage, getting home at 4 a.m, waking up at noon, vaping my brains out, and drowning in video games. I was skinny, broke, and feeling pretty stuck in life. Fresh out of uni, I thought I'd have the world at my feet. Instead, I was left wondering where I went wrong. I thought I'd go the traditional path. However, it didn't take long to realise that this wasn't for me. So there I was in winter of 2022, going through old bank statements. I saw $45 spent on alcohol and thought, how the hell did I afford that? It really hit me. I was doing better financially the year before, back when I was dabbling in making money online, and I wondered, why did I stop? I'd given up on it, and now I was paying the price. That moment was the wake-up call, realising that I'd let myself slip so far. Before I knew it, my social feeds were now a constant barrage of advice, motivation, and tough love. I knew it was time to make a change. I realised no one was coming to save me, no one was going to give me a handout.
I always say that.
A different life, I had to build it
I
myself.
have to do it myself. I knew it. Read it like a book.
Some people hear the term self-development and immediately roll their eyes, thinking it's all a bit cringe. But let me tell you something. If you think you can become successful while holding on to a skeptical, closed off, or limiting mindset, then you're fooling yourself. Here's what I've learned. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, it begins with changing who you are at your core. For years, I kept asking myself, why am I not making more money? Why isn't this working? Life isn't fair. But the penny finally dropped. If you don't have the right foundations, it doesn't matter how hard you work, you're not going to get there. You have to start from a clean slate, erase the limiting beliefs, and reprogram your mind for success. This means undoing years of conditioning, breaking free from the narratives and beliefs that have been holding you back, often without you even realizing it.
Whew, so deep. You realize the chains that's holding you back from success are chains that you can't even see yourself. It's an invisible realm, invisible chains that they've put around you, and you don't believe in yourself. And you talk about, oh, it's fluff. I just want to show me how to make the money, then I'll make it. And I'm telling you, it's a lot deeper than that.
So I started hitting the gym consistently and completely immersed myself in learning, devouring books and podcasts about how I could improve each day. It wasn't just about absorbing the information, but about applying it, pushing myself to grow and slowly setting myself on the right path.
It's a lonely grind, eh? I'm curious, what camera is he shooting with? A Sony A7S?
With my mindset finally shifting and my habits beginning to solidify, I knew it was time to push myself further. It was time to lock myself in a room and get to work. I made the decision to cut out all distractions, completely isolating myself and dedicating every waking moment to building something real. Every day, I followed the same relentless routine. Wake up early, hit the gym, and then lock myself away, working for 12, sometimes 14 or 15 hours straight. This wasn't just a short burst of effort. It became my life for months on end. I rarely saw my friends, barely spoke to my family, and the world outside my room started to fade into the background. My focus narrowed down to one thing and one thing only, making this business a reality. There were no weekends and no days off, just the same cycle over and over again. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't Instagram worthy, but it was the reality of what it takes to build something meaningful
real life
from nothing.
Young man has got a good head on his shoulders.
The day finally arrived, launch day. This was the moment everything was supposed to change. I had poured every ounce of my energy into this business, and now it was time to see if it would all pay off.
It's about to flop.
I'd love to tell you it was an instant success, but that's not how it went. The first day brought in almost nothing. After all those months of grinding, I remember staring at my screen, thinking, is this it? Was all that work for nothing? But instead of letting myself get discouraged, I looked for ways to improve.
Pivot.
My marketing was weak. After attempting to run ads myself for a while and losing almost all of my money, I decided to go back to the drawing board. I knew my strengths were in the creative process, not in the technicalities of paid advertising and media buying, so I took a risk and outsourced it, using every last penny I had. It was a gamble, but one I was willing to take, and it paid off. Slowly but surely, sales began to pick up. It wasn't the explosive success I'd fantasized about, but it was real progress. By the end of month...
Is that 5k? Let's go back.
It wasn't the explosive success I'd fantasized about, but it was real progress.
Yeah, 5.107. Curious about how much he started with, how much he paid for the whole paid ad stuff, all of that stuff. I'm curious if he's going to include it or not. Let me know if you think he will.
By the end of month 5, I'd hit my long-term goal. My first £10,000 month in profit.
Wow.
It was a milestone that changed everything. Things got more consistent and were finally starting to pay off. I was ecstatic, of course, but I wasn't about to get comfortable. The first thing I did was move out. Not because I hate my family or anything, but because I knew I needed my own space. A place where I could truly focus, lock myself away, and dive even deeper into what would become one of the most transformative seasons of my life. Hitting that 10k month in July was a major milestone for me, but I knew it was only the beginning. Once I got a taste of this freedom, I did everything I could to avoid ending up in that f***ing penguin costume again. I knew I had to go harder, aim higher, and build something even bigger. That only meant one thing: locking myself in a room. Again. I settled into my new space, preparing to hibernate like a hermit for the next 4 months. My days were about to become a blur of early mornings, long work sessions, and an embarrassing number of delivery orders. This time around, it wasn't just about maintaining what I'd built. It was about scaling up, preparing for the biggest opportunity of the year, Q4.
Yep.
Black Friday was looming, but if I wanted to capitalize on it, I had to get back into that intensive, all-consuming grind that had gotten me this far. So that's exactly what I did. I got back into my routine stronger than ever, waking up early, hitting the gym, and then diving straight into 12 to 15 hours of work. The truth is, this is what being an entrepreneur really looks like. There's this notion that entrepreneurs spend their days partying on super yachts and driving Lambos, but the reality is far less glamorous. The vast majority of successful entrepreneurs have walked a similar path, one where laser focus and unwavering discipline are the only options. I knew that every late night, every grueling work session was bringing me one step closer to the results I wanted. By the time November rolled around, I was more than ready. The new product line was launched and the results were explosive. 20x what I'd done back in March. It was the validation I needed, proving that all those months locked away had been worth it.
Wow, man.
It was launched and the results were explosive.
It's amazing.
20x what I'd done back in March. It was the validation I needed, proving that all those months locked away had been worth it. But even then, I knew this was just another step in the journey. I could see clearly now that this was the beginning of something much bigger.
Editing. Props to the editing, man.
Just over a year after starting this venture, I crossed the 7-figure mark. Truthfully, this was not a milestone I expected to hit so soon, but it just shows you how much your life can change within a year if you put in the work. Although with that said, I'm not here to pat myself on the back or pretend I've got it all figured out. There's people out there who make this in a month, a week, or even a single day, and when you let this sink in, it'll humble you. So when the numbers ticked over to 1 million, the euphoria lasted a couple of minutes. Sure, it sounds flashy, but does it actually mean anything?
And is it actually profit as well? Because we know if you know anything about Shopify or doing dropshipping, yeah, the margins can be crazy. So how much of that is profit or whatever it is, I don't know. So let this video inspire you, but don't then become like, I'm never going to make it, because you don't actually know how much of that is profit. Let's say he only got to keep like 100k profit. I've seen some people with terrible margins, so you can end up keeping like 100k profit. It can happen after all expenses. You can mess this up big time. So I'm not saying anything bad in regards to this. I'm not saying this is even his situation, but I'm just saying, take everything you see online with, what do they say? A pinch of salt, grain of salt?
No, not really. I realized that crossing this milestone didn't make me feel any different. I wasn't suddenly successful, nor did I feel like I'd made it. The truth is, the title and the numbers are just that. Numbers. They don't define success or happiness. What truly mattered, though, wasn't the money itself, but the freedom it brought. As humans, we don't really care about the numbers on the screen. It's the freedom those numbers represent that really matters. Sure, you might want to splurge on the occasional treat, but the most valuable thing 10 to 20k per month provides is peace of mind and the ability to live life on your own terms.
Yeah, man.
This is something everyone should strive for in today's world. In this golden era of online entrepreneurship, reaching 10k a month isn't as difficult as it may seem. I'm not saying it's always going to be easy, but my point is, if I can do it, then anyone can. The biggest obstacle will always be the one in our heads. That's one of the most important lessons I've learned so far. It's not about luck or knowing exactly where to start. There's no magic secret. What you need to do is simply start. Learn as you go. Everything you need is already out there, but the real challenge is overcoming your own mental barriers. If there's one thing I want you to take away from my journey so far, it's this. Getting what you want in life is all about sacrifice. I locked myself in a room and lived an extremely regimented life, but now I'm entering a new chapter. One where I can finally step out of that room for a while and enjoy the fruits of my labour. I'm still working hard on my goals, but now I'm doing it with a newly found freedom to travel the world, connect with like-minded people, and create things I'm passionate about, all while supporting my family and enjoying life. But nothing truly worth having comes without sacrifice. Start now, stay focused, and never underestimate the power of locking yourself in a room.
Deeper than the ocean, kind of like a potion. I'm sitting down, crying my heart. That's emotion. Wow, this was an amazing video. Let's see the comments real quick. Production 10 out of 10. I'm telling you, man, the angles that he studied something, film or whatever it is, because those camera angles were amazing. Absolutely. Production 10 out of 10. Idea 10 out of 10. Information 10 out of 10. Thank you for your great work. One of the best videos of this year. 100%. That's a comment from Jordan Welsh. I agree a gazillion percent. Bro, what the F? I didn't expect such quality. I felt like I watched a movie, to be honest with you. Absolute massive props, man. And it sounds like he's in the UK. Jamie Robbins. I would love to do like a podcast and interview him. So Jamie, for whatever reason, if you happen to be watching this, I'd love for us to do a sit down and yeah, just... Oh, did he sound British? Because I'm seeing $1 million here on the title, but I heard a British accent. But anyways, if you're in the UK, my guy, yeah, hit me up, man. Let's break it down, because that was absolutely crazy. Whew. Guys, smash the like button. I'm gonna say this before I lock it off. As an entrepreneur, look, if it's possible for one, then it's possible for all. And that's exactly what I got from Jamie's video. He's not a unicorn. He has red blood just like you and I. So meaning there's no difference. And if he can do it, you can too. You just have to believe in yourself and go the extra mile. Be willing, in fact, to go the extra mile. And you watch what is possible. Whew, the possibilities can be endless. But it's all down to you. You are your own worst enemy. All right? Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all of that stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.